Hello and welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Gabrielle and in this video I will be teaching you how to chain, which is the basis of pretty much any crochet project where you're going to make your stitches into. So happy crocheting and let's get into the video. We're going to go over how to chain. Of course, you're going to need to know how to hold your hook and how to hold your yarn. So let's quickly go over this. You're going to hold your hook as if it's a little knife and you're cutting some bread. So just like this. Here's the underside. This is how I hold it. You can hold it whatever way feels comfortable to you. There's so many ways that people hold their crochet hooks, so feel free to go and explore how other people crochet by looking at some tutorials, but this is how I like to hold it. And just know that with your right hand you're mostly going to be using your wrist. That's why it's important to do wrist stretching before you crochet. It's not really going to be like your fingers like this or your whole arm. It's mostly just going to be through wrist movements. Second, we're gonna hold our yarn. We don't hold anything else in our right hand except for the hook. Everything else is done with our left hand. So to hold the yarn, we're gonna create a little pulley system that controls yarn tension. This is really important for any crochet project you make. So through making chains, you'll learn how to hold your yarn, how to count stitches, and basically how to hold your crochet hook, which is all very important, and this will become more natural to you the more chains that you make. First, you're gonna go probably about this much down from your crochet hook and pinch the hook and pinch the yarn in your left hand using your pinky and ring finger. Then you're gonna make a little finger gun. So you're gonna point here, then go over the yarn, kind of point at yourself, then point down, and then point to the back. So this is how you're gonna wrap the yarn around your finger. Then we're gonna use these two free fingers to hold the knot on our crochet hook. So really, all you're holding with your right hand should be the hook itself. And with your left hand, you have this whole pulley system that works. So you move your pointer finger forward and backward to get the yarn to be looser or tighter. Also, if you're running out of yarn, then you're just gonna pull up with this finger and watch the yarn down here. So I'm pulling backwards with this finger to let in more yarn down there. So that's kind of how the system works. Then you're gonna use up your yarn more. And this is tight again, and we pull back and we let in more yarn. So this is gonna be a little complicated and might feel a little weird at first, but feel free to rewind the video, watch that over a few times, and just know it's just gonna start to feel more natural as you start crocheting. So just don't worry about it too much. So if you don't know how to make a slip knot to get yarn on your hook, feel free to watch a video in my playlist where you can also find this video, and it goes over all of the beginner techniques that you'll need to know. So just go into that playlist and look up for the how to make a slip knot video, and let's continue. So to make a chain, we're going to have our yarn held like this and our hook held like this. Then we're going to start with our hook parallel to our yarn, and then we're going to go in front, down, and back. This is called yarning over. So watch the tip of my crochet hook as I make a chain. And don't do this yet. You can do it with me on the next chain. So as you can see, my hook is facing the camera right now. Then as I get closer to the loop on my hook, it's gonna point down. And see how it's in a straight line with the yarn. So I have a straight line here as I'm pulling it through. That will help it go through a lot easier. Then we come back up and we make sure that it's loose enough that it can slide on our hook before we do anything else. So then we start parallel again. We go into the front, down and back to yarn over like this. Alright, and do it with me. So as we're pulling the yarn forward, we're going to start tilting it down. And we're going to make sure we create a straight line with our yarn as we pull through. If it doesn't pull through this easily, just relax. The harder you pull does not mean it's going to go through easier. It just means you have the wrong angle with your hook. So just practice switching up the angles and see which ones are working better. So we start parallel, we go in the front, down and back, yarn over, pull it forward and then twist so our hook is facing towards the V that's underneath here. So we point our hook all the way down so that it's facing this little hole. And we just make a straight line with our yarn and our hook and pull through. So again, parallel, front, down, back, yarn over, and then we turn our hook down as we pull it through the V. So these are what your chains look like, and I want you to look at your chains now and count how many you have on there. So this can be a little bit tricky, and this is a skill that you are going to be learning as you crochet more, how to identify how many stitches you have and how many chains you have. So this is 1 for me, 2, 3, 4. You can look at mine and see how I have 4 chains here, and double check with yours how many you have. It might be that when you crochet you kind of flip over to the back side, which is a lot harder to see how many chains you have, and see if I make a chain now, it's starting to get a little bit twisted and it's harder to count the V's. So just be aware that yours could be a little bit twisted as a beginner, or some might just look a lot more big like this, and some might look a lot tighter like this. So they can look a lot different and warped, but just know the more that you crochet, the more consistent they'll get like this, and you'll be able to count easier. So just practice counting, practice seeing the chains that you have with you, and when you're ready, I'll see you in the next video where we learn how to make single crochets into the chain and into other stitches. Thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial helped you, and comment down below what videos you would like to see next.